Okay, so we're talking about literal equations. Go ahead and get rid of this. Talking about literal equations, which is, I told you in the very first video, uh, meant letters in general, more than one letter. Some people say it's just an equation that has nothing but letters. But the biggest use that we see of literal equations is whenever the letter literally means a thing. And we see that all the time in formulas. So I'm just going to go through a few formulas that you already are familiar with. You can, if you have, like, let's see, you have a rectangle, okay? You're going to call this as how wide it is, and this is how long it is, right here. Yep. You can find the area of it. Well, the area is equal to the length times the width, okay? So there's one you've seen a million times. Another one that you're very familiar with is, what if you have a rectangular prism, a box, okay? If you have one of those, well, you got a length, a width, and you have a height. So the volume of a box is equal to the length times the width times the height. Just another example. Another very famous one that you've seen, if you have a right triangle, okay, call this leg A, this leg B, and you call the hypotenuse, that's the one opposite of the right angle, right here, okay? Then you know that if you square both legs and you add them together, that's the same thing as squaring the hypotenuse. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Every one of those stands for a specific thing. You remember, if you want to know how far around a circle is, right? The distance around, well, that's called c. C stands for circumference, and circumference is equal to pi. Pi is a variable in a way. I mean, it's a letter, but it is a constant because it does not change. It is 3.14159, and that goes on and on forever. So you might call it a variable, but it's not. It's actually a constant. It just has a letter standing in for it. So it's a very specific thing. Pi means a specific thing. Diameter is the distance across. Well, if you multiply pi times diameter, you can find the distance around. So pi is about 3, so 3 times the distance around is about what the distance, or 3 times the distance across is what the distance around would be. Another one would be, if you wanted to know the distance all the way around anything, that's called the perimeter, okay? So the perimeter, P stands for perimeter, is equal to the sum of, that is another Greek letter, big, it's a capital S is what it is, stands for sum, the sum of all of the sides. Add all the sides together, this one, this one, this one, and you'll have the distance around. That's perimeter is equal to the sum of the sides. And you see variations of these. Another one, that's, what if you have something that's like a conversion? If you wanted to convert between Fahrenheit, F, and Celsius in temperature, well, you can find the Fahrenheit by taking 9/5, that's a 5, taking 9/5 times the Celsius and adding 32. Yeah, that's 32, like 32 degrees is freezing. Yeah, that's in there. Okay, so all you have to do is, if you know what F is, you can find C. If you know what C is, you can find F. Another one that you've probably seen a lot is, what's my paycheck going to be? Well, take the amount of money that you make per hour. That is your, we'll just call it, let's call it D for dollars per hour, times the number of hours that you work is going to be equal to, I don't have to use a letter. I can use a symbol. Okay, this is a literal equation. Okay, the dollar I make per hour times the number of hours is equal to the amount of pay. So if I made $10 an hour times, let's let H equal 7, well, that's going to be $70. $10 an hour times 7 hours is $70. So the variations are endless, but you get the idea. And then in a literal equation, that a letter can stand for a specific thing. Again, if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.